The big story tonight, it is the budget battle. It continues. Still no deal. There is a bill on the governor's desk, but it does not include a plan to let Arizona voters vote on a proposed tax increase. It is something the governor has said she is not backing down from.
The referral of the temporary sales tax to the people of Arizona is my #1 priority. I think it's imperative that we send it out there and let them decide. I trust the people of Arizona. I think that all the legislature should trust the people of Arizona.
All right, so tonight the legislature is still in special session trying to work out a deal with the governor. Neither side showing any signs of backing down. And while the governor and the legislature work through this state and work with the budget right now, problems still persist. Joining us live tonight is State Treasurer Dean Martin, and you're kind of waiting for the go-ahead to start, managing this budget, and still no word yet. But first, before we get to questions, and I want you to listen to a soundbite from the governor about what will happen if she doesn't get this sales tax increase that she wants to be put on this referendum. Take a listen.
And so it is something that the people are going to have to decide, and I believe that they will. I think they will support it, because if they don't, we're headed into 2011, 2012, and 2013 with huge billion-dollar deficit. That is huge cuts.
All right, you heard it right there. What is your reaction to that?
Well, she's right in the fact that we've got a big problem, but we also have a problem right now in this fiscal year. The state of Arizona is hundreds of millions of dollars in the red right now. A year ago, we had hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. And so she really wants this referral, but they can't get the votes for it, the legislature. What we need right now, we're basically coming to the last credit card is almost maxed out. We need a signed 2010 budget, and they still have time to work on the 2011, 12, and 13 problem, right. Whether it's the proposed tax increase referral or something else. Really what we need right now is that budget signed, because we can't wait any longer.
Well, how much time are we talking about here, Mr. Martin?
Well, we can loan the general fund about $500 million. So think of it like you've got a credit card with a $500 million credit limit. Problem is, 2/3 of that's already gone. Okay. We forecast that within the next 6 to 8 weeks, that will be maxed out. And we can't get additional monies until we get a signed balanced budget. So we're looking at literally a matter of weeks before we're exactly like California and sending out IOUs.
Are they really that far off as far as getting that put to a referendum for the voters to vote on this tax increase? Is it that far off?
They just can't get the votes. Yeah. They've tried a lot of different ways. They've tried from the right, from the left, from up, down. And the problem is it's been a lot of brute force effort. We need a little more creativity. And if one way doesn't work, trying the same thing over and over again, that's the definition of insanity.
Well, it's very frustrating for voters, and we had a lot of folks who were online who were, wanted to express tonight. So let's go to Twitter and Facebook tonight if we can take a few questions that you all had out there. And this is John Palme off of Twitter. What is the biggest expenditure that you don't agree with?
Well, right now we've got a situation where we've been cutting some budgets and growing others. Okay. We have actually hundreds of millions of dollars in growth in welfare spending while we're cutting education. We're growing welfare spending while we're cutting public safety. Maybe we shouldn't be growing anything, right. And that would require less cuts. Okay. And so that we need to have a serious discussion at exactly what we can afford and what we can't afford, and going through and defining that. But right now we shouldn't be growing some budgets while we're cutting others, especially education and public safety. All
right, a lot of people would agree with that. Let's go to one more question tonight. I think this is off of Facebook. It's off of Twitter, actually. And this gentleman says, all I can say is, can we please set the politics and the parties aside and settle on a budget good for the people and our state? This is actually Phil, my friend off of Twitter. And a lot of people have said this is getting too personal. It's just poking jabs at each other. Meanwhile, the taxpayers are frustrated with the whole deal.
Well, they should be frustrated. It's their money. And every day that we don't have a solution, that's millions of dollars that are gone that we won't get back. And he needs to run for the legislature. He needs to.
Maybe.
This is my frustration, because I run the bank. The math isn't Republican. The math isn't Democrat. The math is what it is. We can't spend more than we make, and we need to just set aside a lot of that partisan bickering and get the job done.
We may need to have you back on again and help us figure all this out before it's all over. And said, thanks for coming in late with us tonight. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.